Hey y'all, it's your girl, Dr. J, back with another episode of Let It Flow with Dr. J. Have you ever felt like God has disappointed you? Maybe you've been praying for a job and all you receive is rejection. Or maybe you've been praying for a turnaround in your health, but things keep getting worse. Or perhaps you've been praying for a loved one to turn around or to turn their life around, but they keep drifting further and further into sin. Or you've prayed and asked God to heal someone and that person passed away. Or maybe something tragic happened, like the loss of a child to suicide, or a loss of someone you cared about to gun violence or a tragic accident. There are even times when you've prayed or you've spoken to God about something and you thought you heard him respond to you, but then things get really quiet, or a good amount of time passes in between you hearing from God and things actually turning around. Whatever the situation is or was, maybe you feel disappointed with God because he didn't save that loved one, or things keep getting worse and worse in your life and you can't seem to find any relief. The bottom line is you are disappointed with God and it seems like he has failed to show up for you. He has failed to turn things around, to open doors, to heal you or a loved one, or he is allowing you to go through a difficult season and it just feels like a big disappointment. I know how it feels. There have been so many times when I have felt disappointed by God. So many times where I have prayed and asked God for help, for guidance, for support, or just to show up, and it felt like nothing happened. There are times where I heard God speak to me and tell me that He's going to move, work it out, show up, make a way, or open a door for me. And then it got really quiet. And I found myself looking around like, God, where are you? I started to question if God really hears me, or if I heard him correctly, if he sees my tears, if he understands where I am, if he's really going to show up. And sometimes it has gotten so hard that I have asked God, do you really care about me and all that I'm going through? Like, God, what's really going on? Because about to lose it over here. And you don't even care. Even as I share this message with you, there are things that I have prayed for and about years ago that have not yet been answered, which has caused me to have moments where I'm like, God, what's going on? In fact, I was up most of the night and early this morning with things on my mind and my heart that I keep bringing to God, and I'm asking Him to help me. But it feels like I'm out here still waiting, still trying, still just here. But as I cried out and I had a real conversation with God, a song came in my spirit. And one of the ways that God speaks to me a lot of times is through song. I love music, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't listen to something or find myself bursting out in song throughout my day. So when I heard Stand by Donnie McClurkin, I just started singing the words to the song aloud. And then God also directed me to Matthew 6, verses 25 through 34, to remind me not to worry and not to stress over the things that are outside of my control, and the things that no matter how hard I try, I can't fix it or change it. He sent that reminder through song and the reading of his word because he knows that I needed it in that moment. Over the past few weeks, he's also dropped songs like He Made a Way by Travis Greene, You're Next in Line for a Miracle by Shirley Caesar, and an awesome song by Jekalyn Carr titled Jehovah Jireh in my spirit. And I have been singing those songs over and over again and incorporating them and others into my praise and worship. But there's still something about pouring out your heart to God and feeling disappointed by his silence or by what looks and feels like his failure to show up and to move on our behalf. You see, we are human and we get frustrated. We feel and experience pain. We get tired and weary. We feel like we want to give up or throw in the towel at times. We get disappointed when we expect things to happen in a certain way or within a certain time frame, and when we find ourselves still in the middle of waiting for what we've asked for or experiencing loss, hurt, pain, or rejection, our mind and our circumstances tells us that God doesn't hear us. He doesn't care. It tells us that he has forgotten about us, and we begin to struggle. We begin to struggle emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and sometimes physically. But I stopped by to acknowledge that how and what you feel is valid. I stopped by to let you know that as humans, and even as new or seasoned Christians, we still feel the way that we feel when we're in the midst of our storm. We still get tired. We still get frustrated, upset, and disappointed with God, and that's okay. Believe it or not, that's okay. You see, perfection is not the expectation. God does not expect for us to be perfect and to always have a smile on our faces or to always feel like everything is working out for us. He knows his children. He knows how we are wired, and he knows the battles we face and the things we must deal with while we're on this side. He knows there will be times when we get disappointed with him, we get anxious, worried, stressed, overwhelmed, and annoyed with what we're going through or with the things that have happened or failed to happen in our lives. The same God that has every hair on our head numbered and who knows everything, every thought we have, and every action we will take knows his children. He knows what we are going to do or think before we do. So he definitely understands the times when we get disappointed and we feel like giving up and walking away. God understands. He knows it is challenging for us to keep going and to keep trusting, hoping, and believing in him. And he gives us his grace during these times. The times when we feel like we're moving, we're moving, we're moving, we're doing, we're showing up, we're working, we're serving, and we're doing everything, yet nothing seems to be shaking, moving, or happening. He gives us grace during those times. And I would dare to say that he gives us an extra helping of grace during these times. He continues to show us mercy, favor, and unconditional love despite how we feel, what we think, and where we are in the moment. And we can take comfort in knowing that God understands us and he knows what we are experiencing. But we can also take comfort in knowing that we are allowed to bring our worries, stress, anxiety, frustration, anger, and disappointment to God. We're allowed to say, God, I'm upset. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. I'm on the verge of giving up and I need you to show up. We're allowed to have those moments and to share them with God. There are so many times where I have come to God and aired it all out. Times where I have told him exactly how I feel and reminded him of the promises that he has made to me. I have even reminded him of the times when he has called me to do something and I feel like I have stepped out on faith, but I'm looking for him to show up. I'm looking for him to move and to help me do the things that he has called me to do. I have been there. And in this moment, I'm still there. But the beauty of serving a compassionate, a loving, faithful, and understanding God is he knows me. and he knows how to redirect me. He knows how to show up and to show me that he's still here and he still hears and knows all that I'm going through. So if you're in a space of feeling disappointed with God, share that with him. Tell him how you feel. Remind him of what you need and how much you need him, and ask him for guidance. And when you've prayed and done all that you can do in your own strength, in the natural, take a step back and be silent. Sometimes we're so busy talking, crying, and asking that we forget that one of the most important aspects of communication is giving the other party an opportunity to speak. When we become silent, God will speak. He may speak in a still small voice, through song, through a television commercial or a TV show or movie, through another person, or through something you read, such as the Bible. The point is, God will speak. He will speak to you. You may not hear anything in the moment that you pray or ask Him for help, but you can ask God to open your heart, to give you unstopped ears, to silence your voice and all other outside voices or distractions, and to allow you to hear His voice and to give you clarity and wisdom regarding what He is speaking to and what He has spoken over your life. And He will speak to you. So no matter where you are right now, how or what you're feeling or what you're experiencing, remember that God still cares for you and He will give you all that you need. He will show up right on time, even if His on time looks nothing like our or your on time. He will answer you and direct your paths. You just have to be honest with Him about how you're feeling and release all that you're carrying and open yourself up to hear a word from God. No matter how it comes or when it comes, be open to receiving a word from God. All right, y'all. I hope this message blesses you and meets you at your point of need. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and trust God's timing and His faithfulness towards you. Peace and love. It's your girl, Dr. J.